All right, let's talk about a couple more stereo recording techniques, mid-side and Blumlein. So I had a previous video where I talked about XY recording and AB recording techniques. So I will put a link to that in the description. I'll probably put a card up on the screen so you can check that out if you want. It seemed like people liked that video and wanted some more, so that's why I'm here today. And today I'm just going to talk about these techniques. I'm not going to have sound examples. I'm just going to talk about them, about their setup, about some considerations for them. I don't have a ton of time to do these videos each week. I'm in grad school right now and I work full time and I do these videos on the side. So if you want like a demo video, maybe I can do that for another video later. Just let me know. Let me know in the comments. But there are also like a whole bunch of demo videos on YouTube that you can go search. It doesn't have to be one of my videos, obviously. So to talk about these mic setup techniques, yeah. I'm going to use for Blumlein, I'm going to use the Shep's Desert Island stereo set to talk about how you would hold the mics, how you would set up the mics, really, how you would position the mics. These microphones are actually cardioid mics, and we would not use cardioid mics for Blumlein. So just keep that in mind. These are just to show you kind of physically how we position the microphones, and we'll talk about that more. And then for mid-side technique, what I'm going to use is I'm going to use my Warm Audio 67 mic, so it's a WA67, and then I'm going to use my Neumann U87 to demonstrate. And these you could actually use for mid-side if you wanted to. And we'll talk about the details why. And so if you're curious about any of these microphones, these are microphones that I own, that I love. I'll put links in the description to them. I don't know what kind of links they'll be, but I'll find links and I'll put them in the description for you. And the other thing to keep in mind is that for mid-side, people often recommend using the same type of microphone for both microphones. So this is kind of breaking that rule. These are similar-ish mics, but not the same type of mic, obviously. So just keep that in mind. You might want to try to use the same microphone as both your mics. A good one is the AKG C414 microphone because it can switch polar patterns. So we'll talk about how that comes into play. And I guess it's not just mid-side, right? Usually for stereo miking techniques, you want to have two of the same type of microphone just so you have like that symmetry from the microphones themselves. So I mentioned this in the last video, but I'm just going to mention it again. With a lot of our stereo miking techniques, we put the microphones very, very close to each other, but we do not actually have them touch each other. So that's something to keep in mind. You don't want the microphones to be touching. Then you might get them bumping each other, for example, or something like that. So oftentimes we put microphones very, very close to each other, but we do not have them touching each other. So when we're talking about Blumlein versus mid-side recording, I think of Blumlein as being a simpler recording technique than mid-side, and a lot of that has to do with the processing side of things. So Blumlein is pretty simple. You have your two microphones and you just hard pan them left and right. Very similar to other stereo mic techniques that we use, right? With mid-side, it's a bit more complex, which is probably part of why it trips some people up and part of why I think of it as being a more complex setup, but it's not that hard if you know how to do it. And I have a video, I believe, where I actually show how to process mid-side recording, and I actually have a sound demo of it. So I'll find a link for that and put it in the description. I don't remember if it's a couple short videos or if there's a longer video out there, so I'll have to go look and find out for you. All right, so let's talk about Blumlein recording. The way it works is you use two figure-8 mics, which again, not the same as this. This is a cardioid microphone, but you use two figure-8 mics, and it's just like XY recording. So if you've seen my previous video where I talked about XY recording, it's the same type of setup. Basically, what you're doing is you're making a right angle with the microphones. You're doing a 90-degree angle, and you're putting them kind of one on top of each other, and you kind of want to line up the capsules so they're in the same plane of existence. So that's the basic idea of how Blumlein is set up. The big difference from XY is the actual polar pattern of the microphone, the fact that it is a figure-8 microphone that you're using and not a cardioid microphone. So when I say it's similar, it's very, very similar, right? So if the big difference is a figure-8 polar pattern, what does that mean, right? Well, with figure-8 microphones, I'll put an image to a figure-8 polar pattern schematic on the screen for you. I don't know if schematic's the right word, but anyway, the way it works is if a microphone is figure-8, it's going to pick up sound from the front of it, and it's going to reject sound from the sides, and then it's going to pick up sound from the back of it, and it's going to pick up sound from the back of it in an equivalent way to how it picks up sound in front front of it. So it's not rejecting sound from the back the way a cardioid puller pattern would. So I'll put images for a figure 8 puller pattern on the screen. I might put one for a cardioid as well so you can kind of compare. So when we think about setting up our microphones in a Blumlein setup, right, where it's right angles, it has a lot of the same advantages of XY recording, right? You get a very distinct stereo spread. You get a good amount of stereo width, right? You're hard panning those microphones when you process them. With the figure 8 pickup, you're going to be picking up stuff from in front of you to the right with the microphone pointing to the right, and you're going to be picking up stuff behind you to the left from the same microphone. And then you're going to be picking up stuff in front of you to the left with the other microphone and behind you to the right. So what that means is you're going to get more of your room, right? So a lot of times when people choose to use Blumlein instead of XY, for example, they're going to be wanting to get more of their room, right? So oftentimes people choose to do this technique when they have a really good sounding room acoustically. And since a figure 8 puller pattern rejects stuff from the sides really well, you're going to have the microphones picking up different things from each other. So if this one was figure 8, it would be rejecting from the sides. And if I line this one up here, it's picking up from the same spot where these sides are, right? So it's rejecting what this one's picking up and this one's rejecting what that one's picking up. So they're going to have an even better separation between what each microphone is picking up because of the puller pattern. And so also this is a good example of a coincident mic technique. I talked about that in the last video, so go check that out if you're not familiar with that term. And I don't know what else about this mic technique. It's similar to with other mic techniques. If you want more of the sound source and less of the room, then you get closer to the sound source, right? And I think that's it for Blumlein. So I'm going to move on to mid-side. Okay, so with mid-side, the reason why I'm using these microphones as an example is because these microphones both have a switch where you can switch the puller pattern. So I'll try to put an image here on the screen if you probably can't see this detail here. But this microphone has an omni-puller pattern, a cardioid puller pattern, and a figure 8. So that's going from left to right on this switch here. And so if I switch this one into figure 8, this is now ready to be used as part of a mid-side setup. I'm going to leave this one on cardioid, even though it has its own switch as well. So this one can be switched between cardioid, and I believe I believe it's the same puller patterns for this one. So figure 8, now it's on figure 8, and now it's on omni, yeah. So it has the same one. So I'm going to leave this on cardioid. And the way mid-side recording works is you often have the cardioid microphone pointing at the sound source, and often that's like upside down, so that you can have the figure 8 microphone pointing to the sides. So if you were the sound source, this is how I would do it. I would have them very close together, but not touching, and I would have them kind of on the same plane of existence here. And I would have the figure 8 pointing out to the sides and this cardioid microphone pointing at you, the sound source. And so sometimes with this technique, people will use an omni mic instead of the cardioid. I've seen the cardioid puller pattern being used more for this mic technique. So that's just something to keep in mind, that it's still called a mid-side if you use an omni for that one that's, pointing at the sound source. If it's omni, it's not really pointing so much, but that's the idea. So the idea here is that the cardioid microphone, the one pointing at the sound source, that's picking up more of the direct signal of the sound source, and that the figure 8 microphone is picking up more of the room. So this does tend to be a mic technique that people like to use when they have a really good room acoustically, similar to with the Blumlein technique. And that's because it allows you to bring up the sound of the room really well. And I say bring up because when you process it, that's kind of how you do it. So what you do when you process the microphones, right, you have one signal from the cardioid and you have one signal from the figure 8. You leave the cardioid in the center. And then what you do is you duplicate the figure 8 microphone, audio. So what you do is you duplicate it and then you flip the phase on one version of the figure 8 mic signal. And so if you flip the phase and you keep them both down the center, it'll cancel itself out, right? But what you can do is you can then hard pan the figure 8 versions, the figure 8 mics. So you take, for example, the original of this microphone and you pan it hard left, and then you might take the duplicate that's been phase flipped and you pan it hard right. So what I like to do in Pro Tools is I like to group the two figure 8 tracks. So what I do is I bring them all the way down, I group the two together, and then I'll bring them up to taste. So they come up in tandem. And as you bring them up, you'll hear more of the room come into the recording, and you'll hear more of that stereo with more of that sense of space. And it's really, really, really cool. If you have a good space acoustically to record in, that has a lot of beautiful natural reverb, I definitely recommend trying this technique and bringing it up and feeling that sense of space as you bring it up. It's a really beautiful sounding way to record, and it feels more natural to me than some of these other techniques that we've talked about on the channel. All right, well, that's it for now, the mid-side technique and the Blumlein recording technique. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you like these techniques, if you've used them, if you know any other details I didn't include here, please let me know in the comments below. Let all of us know in the comments below. And you can check out my links in the description for more information on these microphones, maybe some other stuff. I don't know what I'm going to put in the description yet, but check that out. Some of it will probably help support my channel. And then, let me know if you want more videos like this about stereo recording techniques. If you want some videos where we're doing actual demonstrations to compare all the techniques, just let me know what you want to see. It helps me decide what to do next. And other than that, I have a Patreon, so it's patreon.com/CatoNoise. My patrons have access to additional content. I do early release videos there, and we have a Discord server that we're all hanging out on. That's kind of been my big focus. We have a book club. It's all audio engineering and music production stuff. It's been a lot of fun. So feel free to check that out if you feel so inclined. And I come out with new videos every Wednesday, and thank you so much for hanging out. Okay. I have to teach a class soon. I have to teach a class soon. I have to teach a class. I have to be tired. I have a job of being tired. I'm going to go be tired. I am a tired Cato. I'm a tired Cato potato. I am a tired Cato potato. This mic gets the most work in my studio. This almost lives in my sound booth. It's the U87. I'll put a link to it in the description below, obviously, but this microphone is a classic vocal mic, and a lot of what I'm doing with clients is vocal recording. So this one's probably the microphone that I use the most in my studio. This would be the one not to get rid of, for me at least. I like this microphone. Okay, bye.